Okay, the point of this little section is the impact of agricultural practices. So, what impact do certain agricultural practices have on the soil and the land? This is a very short little section. There's an attached video that I'm going to link for you in the modules so you don't have to necessarily watch it here. Okay, so what we're looking at here is we're looking at things that affect the soil. This is called plow and till. This is just a technique used in agriculture. What it does is you're turning the soil upside down. You're pushing down whatever crop residue you had before. You're killing weeds, you're killing insects. And it's a way to get the soil ready for new planting. But when you do this plow and till, it increases erosion because you're loosening the soil. Some of it can blow away or wash away or get moved by water or wind. You expose all kinds of organic matter to oxygen when you turn over the soil like that. So, what that does is it increases CO2 in the atmosphere from oxidation. This is what happens. It also leads to soil degradation along with irrigation and overproduction. So, plow and till is a method used in agriculture, but sometimes it has quite an impact on the actual land that you're doing it on. Okay, like I said, this is a video called Moldboard versus No-Till. This is a cute little video by a couple of farmers, and they're going to explain to you the techniques of tilling versus no-tilling. And watch this so it'll help you fill in the notes there because it's going to give you a lot more information about those techniques and what they do for the land and what impact they have on the land. So we're going to skip that for right now. And we're going to go to another technique called slash and burn. Now, I want you to realize here, slash and burn is not a type of agriculture. It is just a technique for cutting down trees and getting a field ready to be planted for the first time around. It's not a consistent overall technique. It's called slash and burn because what it is they're trying to get this field ready to plant things. So instead of just systematically cutting down the trees, we're going to cut them down all quickly and we're going to burn all of them, resulting in lots of ash. Okay, the ash provides a little nutrients to the soil. Take a look and see if you can guess what biome this is. It's nutrient poor soil and warm climate. And if you guessed somewhere around a tropical rainforest, then you would be correct. Remember, warm climate and poor nutrient soil because in the tropics, that soil is recycled and the nutrients are recycled very quickly. Slash and burn is not sustainable. So hang on. What else do we need to know about slash and burn? It releases carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. When we do this, it leads to erosion, loss of topsoil, and a positive feedback cycle. So see if you can think about what is that positive feedback cycle as we go around. One thing leads to another, leads to another. We irrigate this land. It could lead to salinization. What does that mean? In all water, there are natural amounts of salts. And when we water with that natural water, sometimes the water evaporates and leaves the salts behind. So the salts eventually will damage the soil. Eventually, all that damage could lead to desertification, which means this land is much more like a desert and it's completely unproductive anymore. So this is not a good thing. And that's what can happen from using slash and burn techniques to clear your fields. And we can see that with the desertification here. The Sahara Desert is expanding up at a rate of up to 30 miles a year. Where is the Sahara Desert? Right here in Africa. And it is expanding. Okay, so here's an article about that. I'm linking that also in the modules. It's called With the World Distracted, the Amazon Rainforest Continues to Burn. So we've got a lot of deforestation going on there in the Brazilian Amazon. It's hit an all-time high. This is from a couple years ago. It's a recent thing. And there was lots of increases in this. And so we're worried about this area. So I want you to read that really quickly and answer a couple of questions there in your packet about what's going on in the Amazon and in Brazil. Okay, here's some other things that can impact the soil, and we're going to learn what are they, and we're really just going to talk here about fertilizers. So fertilizer is used to replace lost nutrients that you use up when you grow plants. They're going to use nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium, and you saw that when you looked at your soil samples, and you saw that some of them were depleted of some of those nutrients. So we want to add this back to the soil so that we can keep our plants growing. If we use organic fertilizers, it's mostly made of decomposed manure. which comes from animals. So this is a natural thing that you can do. If you want to use synthetic or inorganic fertilizers, well, how do we get these? We combust and use natural gas to fix and capture atmospheric nitrogen, and then we get to put it in a big container like this bag here. This looks like it's grass seed plus fertilizer, and you can see that it's got nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium in that. That's a synthetic fertilizer. So we capture that atmospheric nitrogen and we put it in our synthetic fertilizer. The thing here that's important to remember is that synthetic fertilizers will feed the plant, and that's terrific. But organic fertilizers will actually feed the soil. So when I put organic matter into my soil, it incorporates itself with all kinds of soil nutrients. I get all kinds of great microorganisms in here that are thriving. That's helping the plant nutrients. Overall, it's going to be a more sustainable system than just using my synthetic fertilizer all the time, where I'm only just feeding my plant. I'm not really helping my soil. Okay, what are the benefits of using synthetic fertilizers? It's pretty easy. You can go out and get some. You can spread it on your yard or your garden or wherever, and it's absorbed pretty quickly. You can adjust the content. So I'm going to look at what crops need what, and I'm going to figure out what fertilizer I can buy, and the proportions of nitrogen and phosphorus and potassium will be different, and so I can customize it. Without synthetic fertilizers, we could not feed the world. So what this is showing you is the tons of fertilizer used, nitrogen fertilizer used in the United States from 1964 to 2010. The total amount used and the amount used to grow corn. And you can see that it has gone up from 1965 to 2010. So we've gotten an increase in the use of synthetic fertilizers. But there's always drawbacks, remember? Always drawbacks to using any kind of environmental solution. So with my synthetic fertilizers, I'm using fossil fuel energy to make it, transport it, all of that. It is carried by runoff lots of times in this picture on the right to groundwater and to waterways. So here I've got cotton or something growing over here, and my fertilizer is now running off into the water, which causes all kinds of eutrophic situations on the left here, lots of algae in that water. If I use synthetic fertilizer and don't use organic matter, then what's happening is I'm not getting a lot of organic matter added to my soil. If I add the organic matter, it helps raise that cation exchange level of the soil, and it helps my water retention. But if I just use chemicals, then I'm not really adding a tremendous amount to the soil and helping it out a whole lot. So that is kind of the good things and the bad things about synthetic fertilizer, and a little bit about all the agricultural impacts on soil from different techniques. And we will talk more about this in class.